Um, Hello again, listeners. Welcome back to Trash Talk with Mrs. Cook. Today we have a very special guest. Yes, one of the guardians of creation, in fact, a true VIP, and a handsome fellow he is too. And his name is. I'm sorry, dear. How do you pronounce your name?
Hello, I am Sect Leader Xoruk.
Sect leader. Oh my goodness. More and more prestigious.
It's but an empty title. I
Why do you
only
why do
lead.
you say that?
I've built this new organization on an empty shell. One day I hope to find meaning in such a title.
Interesting, interesting. Well, hopefully we'll get more into that. To begin with, very basic question. With heroes, it's said that every hero experiences a call to adventure in life, and those that do not answer the call of adventure often have bad things come of them. They either become people that need rescue or sometimes the villain of another hero's story. Did you answer the call to adventure in your life, and what did that look like?
Honestly, I've heard many stories about my people, the Blue Orc. I know that we were born through divine intervention, and since young, I have believe that I am destined to do great things. So when adventure came calling, I answered with a great smile, though the answer may have had greater implications than I expected.
And how were you called to adventure, dear?
Uh, I grew up in Surf Pond. Uh, there was a group of local thugs who were terrorizing innocents in the surrounding area. So I placed it upon myself to take care of these miscreants. Though I ended up jumping into a pond bigger than I thought, I ended up being attacked by their leader and knocked unconscious. When I
Oh
awoke,
my.
yeah, when I awoke, my original temple was destroyed and everyone was gone. And from that moment on was when I decided that I would be an adventurer to help people and to look for those who destroyed my first temple.
So it's a bit of a revenge adventure.
You could say, yes.
And how old were you when this occurred?
I was 17. It was 5 years ago.
So you're still quite young. But I find that to be true of many adventurers. They don't always live very long.
No, they do not. I've nearly died a few times already. Luckily, I had some good companions who were able to bring me back.
Well, that's wonderful, and I will say if you ever need, the odd potion or fortune telling to see when those baddies are coming to kill you, feel free to stop by Mrs. Cook's and keep us coast. I tell a mean fortune.
Love of fortune.
So the call to adventure and how you started on your hero's journey, that's one thing, but what keeps you going? Who or what do you love? What motivates you to persist when things get tough?
I am motivated solely by my destiny. I know that I'm destined for great things as I was created and taught the ways of destiny and the following of the god Clothy. Uh, my biggest motivation right now is my rivalry with my best friend at the moment, Tromo.
I see, I see. Now I've heard a little bit about this rivalry. Is it just is it frenemies? Is it friendly rivals? Is it something more?
It's it's frenemies as of now. When I first met Tromo, he pushed me into a lake that was made out of a gelatin creature, which burned me. From that moment on, I vowed to chase him and pray him every time I see.
I see. So it's sort of like a hazing kind of fraternity rivalry you have going.
Yes, I would agree to that state.
And what sort of pranks do you like to play on him, or can you tell our audience what pranks you may have planned for him in the future?
Well, firstly, the last quest I was with Tromos on, while he slept, I tied him up and then I taped him to the ceiling in a room that we were sharing. And at the same time, as he got out of it to prepare for his bath, I replaced his soap with a purple dye.
Oh my, was he turned purple?
Yes, completely. It was a magical dye. It stayed for a few days, I believe.
Well, that sounds like a very well executed prank, though I doubt he appreciated it.
No, he did not. I was shrunk the following day and carried around like I was a baby. Very humiliating.
Humiliating, perhaps, but also convenient when other people are doing the walking for you.
Yes, I'm not used to being so small and the one being carried. So it's a refreshing account.
There you go. So it sounds like you still have the one up there. When you were small, who carried you?
Uh, the entire party. At the time, there was Tromos, uh, King, another monk, member of the GOC, in fact, you may know it, and of Tsukihiro, a Kitsune, paladin friend of mine, and then there was another fellow there. Can't seem to. He was he was there and not at the same time. He constantly kept hiding from me for some reason.
No, he didn't carry you, but the others did.
Yes,
I see. Imagine being passed around by a group of adventurers. Now that's Mrs. Cook's idea of a good time. Though I'm sure it was a little different for you. Any other upcoming pranks you have planned for your frenemy?
currently I am hunting Tromus. I found his trail in Al Taj. I will be. I haven't thought of anything yet, but I may just throw him off a cliff.
That sounds like great fun to me.
Exactly.
Definitely just
He'll
good,
be
clean
fine.
fun. I will say, if you don't mind getting a tip in your favor, I have I have seen and heard of Tromos being in the Azure Valley lately.
Oh, that's greatly appreciated. I need to buy some rope, some dynamite, and a shovel.
Well, I think rope comes in your standard explorer's pack, but a
Actually, but
shovel
he
easy
stole
to
it.
find. Dynamite, now that I don't know, but I'm sure with the right amount of money, you could certainly acquire that.
Truly,
And you
I'm
know,
vastly rich.
it are you really? And how did that come about?
I I've been on many adventures. I've done a lot of things for the guild and sold a lot of stuff, rare items that I've come into account with and amassed quite a fortune.
Well, my goodness. That's quite something. I will say I've done the odd job here and there for the guild, but I don't tend to come away with much more than pennies at the end. Perhaps I'm doing it wrong.
Mhm. I have no use for money other than to uh, build up my monastery.
So it's a construction project you're working on.
Yes. Uh, well, currently we are expanding into the other continents right now. I'm mainly in, I have a branch in the main headquarters in Seraph Prime and a branch in Altai.
Is there any special reason you chose Altage?
Mm, I've had a lot of, I spent a lot of time in Altai. If it's the place that I've been to the most, including Seraph Prime. I'm thinking of opening my next branch in uh Azure Valley, but I need more time to think.
Well, don't forget the Keeper's Coast. We're some of the most unwashed heathens you'll ever find. So certainly we could use religion, and of course,
Oh, this
Mrs.
is
Cook can help
yeah.
you find the exact perfect location for the right finder's fee, of course.
I'd be more than happy to pay. The Six Horn Temple is not much of a religious place. It's more of an information net.
Oh, even better.
Though I do practice, I do not push my ideals on the others.
But why is that? Isn't that sort of what religious types tend to do?
Typically, but when it comes to your destiny, you must find that on your own. I hate the idea of someone forcing their destiny upon me, so I shall not do it to others.
Well, that's awfully generous of you, and definitely that sort of thing I think a hero would say. Speaking of destiny, you do strike me as someone with a strong sense of their destiny. Tell me more. What is your destiny?
My destiny is to stop the great evil of the Red Orc. Uh, when the Blue Orcs were created, Red Orcs ran rampant across the continent with their dark magics. So we were created in order to make a balance or to and then get rid of any Red Orcs that are practicing such magic.
And what sort of magics do they practice?
Truly, I've yet to encounter any. So I'm not too sure of myself. I've only heard through word of mouth of the dark magic that they practice.
I see, but as a hero, if you were to encounter one and they seemed a decent person, would you be obligated by your destiny to destroy them?
No, I would not. As long as they do not interfere with the balance of good and evil, then they are fine to live as they please.
I see. So you're here for balance, not any sort of cleansing of evil sorts.
Yes.
That's good to know. Very good to know. And I'm sure any red orcs out there would be pleased to know that as well. They're not necessarily being hunted down. It sounds like you're quite busy in the meantime.
I truly am. There's a lot going on Tahiri.
You're not wrong there, buddy. Um, all right. So you're a monk who doesn't push his religious ideas on others, but you do have a god, is that correct?
Yes, I follow the god of destiny, Clothes.
Tell me more about them. I don't know much of gods, personally.
Well, Colossus, they are they're the namesake of my temple, Six Horn Temple. They are a god. Their symbol would be the spear in her horn. Uh, Her whole deal is keeping the balance between good and evil in this on this plane. Um, she doesn't really care for good or evil, which is why I try to follow that path myself.
So a more neutral path.
Yes.
I can approve of that. Six horns. What's that all about? Why six?
Simply, yeah, simply because she has six horns. And then for me, each horn represents a different path. The first horn, would be, good. The second, evil. The third, balance. And then the other three, I've yet to ascertain their meaning.
I see. So it's one of those religious mysteries sort of things
Yes.
that you discover on your path. Very well. As I said, I'm not familiar with this goddess. What sort of horns are they? Like ram's horns or goat's horns?
I believe, yeah, they're more closely resemble to the horns of goat.
Interesting. Well, she sounds gorgeous, frankly.
Yes,
Anyone
truly.
with horns is quite attractive to me, although that could just be me.
No, you are correct. I hope to one day inherit my horns once I ascend.
Oh, is that what happens? You ascend and then get your wings or horns, as the case may be.
Yes, I am far off though. I'm still but a martial monk.
Well, of course, you're young and a young adventurer. I'm sure there's years of adventuring ahead before you. Learn all you've needed to learn, and then when you ascend, do you get to sit at the right hand of your goddess? Is that how that works?
No, when ascension is different for everyone. For me specifically, ascension just means that I've completed my journey. I've accomplished what I was set out to do, and I my body awakens. I will shrink down. My muscles will condense, and then my horns will grow,
Sounds like a
and I
very
will.
interesting process.
Yes, it's a new level of power that uh, I frankly don't understand. I don't understand just yet.
I see. And then what will you do?
From then on, I will, uh, at my ascension, I will be the Grand Master, and I will teach others my ways and pass on my legacy.
Okay, so you'll be the big cheese monk in the monastery, as it were.
Yes,
I suppose it's a good retirement plan. Definitely beats dying. I
true
am
that.
curious what a horned monk, a horned orc would look like. It sounds quite interesting.
Yes, yeah.
Certainly make it
We
difficult to wear hats.
truly, yes. We can find ways.
Of course, of course. You would have to have a special haberdasher, perhaps. I think I could design such a hat, as a matter of fact. But we're
Be
getting
happy
ahead
to
of
commission.
ourselves.
I'd be happy to commission you for.
Oh, I would love that. I love making clothes for people. Mrs. Cook has many hobbies. All right, let's get into some of the rumors, shall we? I don't know if you know your how shall I say, your word of you has preceded your coming into this room. You're quite a popular adventurer, and I once heard that you were once stuck in a very sexy lake. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Yes, the sexy lake. I was traveling with a few different things at the time. This is the time I was telling you where Tromos tripped me into the lake. Uh, our pixie friend was heard something, spoke to the lake, and ended up seducing the lake. And the
Uh,
lake,
oh my!
yeah, yeah, it was an amazing time. I felt uncomfortable because they had their own thing. I didn't want to be in their space, but we got a lot of information out of the encounter. But yes, I if it wasn't for Troma, I probably would have still be in that lake to this day.
So he tripped you into the lake and then managed to get
Pulled
you
me out.
out.
Yep. He pulled me. Yes, he pulled me out due to the seduction of the lake.
And what's it like to be in a lake while it's being seduced?
Well, the water gets hot really fast.
Oh my! Oh my goodness! I'm going to have to break out my fan. And what else?
Well, the lake kind of thickened up as if it was getting ready to spurt.
Oh my goodness! The turgidity of a lake. I had no idea there was such a thing could happen.
Neither did I. It was a harrowing experience for myself.
I can't imagine. You're very lucky to escape just in time. And whatever happened of that lake? Did the pixie and the lake, are they still together?
I've not seen I've not seen them quite a bit of time, but from what I've heard, they're moved they the lake was in trouble and she did help them rescue the lake. So they may be.
My goodness, I'm going to have to reevaluate my thoughts on bodies of water if lakes can become aroused and need rescue. And what continent did this happen?
Azure Valley.
Of course. Well, I suppose you're lucky it didn't freeze while you were in it, considering the rest of the valley.
I guess it was like I said, surprisingly warm lake.
I imagine. I can see it now. Your memoirs, this chapter would be called The Tale of the Surprisingly Warm Lake.
Yeah, it is.
And it would amaze many. I've heard something about your necrotic energy. Tell me more.
Yes. Um, Surprisingly enough, um, as I was training to activate my key, one day, uh, the key might be went wild, and when I struck the training dummy, it exploded in this green energy. Uh, and from that point on, I trained to awaken that and find out what more. It was a gift from my goddess.
That's wonderful. And did she say why?
No, I've already conquered the my celestial energy and was able to manifest uh more radiant energy. So I'm guessing to keep balance, I unlock this other power.
I suppose that makes sense. Radiant energy is so boring, though. It just lights up things. necrotic
truly.
energy can do all sorts of things. What sort of things can you do with it besides hit and do damage?
So there was a time in which a friend of mine, uh, Nash, we were doing what did they call it? Nash Ball. So I summoned my necrotic energy, and I was able to envelop him in the energy to create a necrotic Nash Ball, which exploded our enemy.
Oh my goodness. So are you saying that Nash Ball is played with a person named Nash used as the ball?
Yes, it's a uh, apparently it's a sport in the GOC.
I see. Well, I suppose if he consents to that, so you are able to envelop him and then cause him to explode?
Yes, on impact he explodes with the necrotic energy.
And
No
did that
damage to him.
let you
No
win
damage
the
to
game?
him. Uh, it let us defeat our enemy.
I see. So he sort of became a bomb of sorts.
Yes.
Very well. It sounds like an interesting sport, I must say. But have you been able to do anything like, raise the dead, for example, with your necrotic energy? Or is that something maybe that's a higher level?
That I feel the the ability that I could, but I've not tried.
Well, I certainly know a few dead bodies if you'd ever like to practice. Come see me.
Huh? Uh,
But steer
I
clear
would
of,
like to do
if you're ever in Keeper's Coast, steer clear of a man named Voltor.
about. All right,
Many bodies around that one.
I'll keep that in mind. I'm actually planning on going to Cuba's Coast really soon.
Please do. I wouldn't mind showing you around at all. We are getting to the end of our interview time, but I did want to ask, there are things in Seraph Prime that we don't have other places. I've heard of something called Flux. What are your thoughts on Flux, and do you Flux?
I don't flux at the moment. I haven't really had a reason to use any flux devices. Uh, the the though the GOC has asked if we would like to use any flux devices, I'm more of a uh, hoverboard type of guy.
I see. And what is a hoverboard type of guy? What does a hoverboard type of guy do? What's his vibe?
Oh, my it's a chill vibe actually. I hop on my hoverboard and travel. I go across the monastery or across Sarah Prime itself. Just scooting by people on the street, sidewalk. It's a great way to relax and enjoy the scenery as you're moving across the vastness of the continent.
I see. It sounds like it would be a good workout as well for those more agile among us.
Truly, yes. It's I'm very skilled with it myself. The last time I used my hoverboard, I completed a 60-foot jump just off of pure power from my legs.
Wow, that is impressive without any sort of damage.
Yes.
Amazing. I've never seen one of these hoverboard things, but certainly I wouldn't mind looking if you happen to bring it with you to Keeper's Coast one day.
I bring it everywhere I go.
Wonderful. I look forward to seeing it. I'm afraid I don't have any snappy wrap up for us, but I will say, I think a good part of every interview is to ask if the interviewee has any questions for the interviewer.
Oh, why, yes. What sort of shenanigans can I get down to in Cooper's Coast? I need to plan out my time when I get there.
Oh, shenanigans. Oh my goodness. We have so many shenanigans. Let's see. Uh in Lunasol, the fomenting rebellion, I believe, against the wizards in charge. Duskvale is Duskvale has some secret goings on that certainly could do with investigating. Then there's Lifelight, where all the religious types go. I suppose that would be a good place to start a monastery if you wanted to. And then, of course, I'm in Ship's Reef, which is the best place to get quests and information along with rare objects.
Well, I,
Plenty to do.
if the 6-1 temple if there's any dangerous items, the 6-1 temple can definitely lock them up for you. Dustvale, as a master of stealth, that's probably a good place for me to go. But I would definitely be
Perhaps.
visiting.
I will say that the Diocs there have a very, you could say, a stranglehold on the city. They suddenly, between the city guard and the secret police, they know everything that goes on. So it can be a bit dicey for those of us who perhaps aren't always on the right side of the law, but that could change with the right adventurer, right?
Yes, I will look into this. I'm known for my stealth and my speed, so it should be an easy task for myself. Well, I
Well,
won't say easy because I don't know.
definitely bring a friend and stop by to have your fortune told ahead of time to make sure you don't get downwind of the wrong people.
I always look forward to a fortune. You know, it's the greatest boon that someone like myself can get.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing you at my shop in Ship's Reef very soon.
Yeah.
Thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you for
And
having me.
of course, and to all my listeners out there, stay out of trouble. This is Mrs. Cook signing off.